One of the biggest questions we're asked is, as an editor, how do I make my demo reel or show reel? The answer, you don't. All right, let's back up a minute. What is a show reel? A show reel is typically a montage of all your best work. They're used to showcase your talents to the people who might potentially hire you for a job. While showreels are great for directors, cinematographers, and motion graphic artists because their work is highly visual, editors by nature are trying to be as invisible as possible. Oftentimes, in order to judge an editor's skill, a potential employer or client will need to watch an entire piece that they built. This is because editing is all about structure, story, and pacing. So trying to whittle down longer edits to a great 90-second montage can often ruin the intent of an editor's original work. Lastly, an editor should be speedy and technically proficient. So knowing your keyboard shortcuts isn't going to be something that's easily identified in a demo reel. Sometimes an employer might ask to watch an editor work in order to get a sense of how they handle their software. In this video, we're going to walk you through a 4-step process to help you showcase your work and ultimately land a job. For step 1, we recommend that you create a website. You want to create a website that truly advertises who you are and what you do. First, it's important that your website is easy to find. The URL for this website is johndoeedits.com, the name of the company or person spelled exactly like it sounds. This is going to be easy for a client to remember, or so that a quick Google search will bring it right up. The website itself should also be very simple. Make sure that potential clients and employers can easily pick and choose the type of work that they'd like to review. A traditional showreel would force them to watch the whole thing from start to finish. It's also important to consider which type of work you want to showcase. In the case of this website, John Doe is first showing 3 commercial projects on the top row here. The next row shows what appears to be 3 darker, more narrative projects. And finally, the third row here shows some graphics and photography. You should organize your work to cater to the type of job that you'd like to be hired for. If you want to edit movies, make sure to showcase your narrative editing skills first and foremost. So, how do you make a website? Well, there are a ton of great website building options available at good prices. Here are a few of our favorites. First, you've got WordPress, which has some great theme options such as Vimeography. Next, we have Squarespace, which is intuitive and easy to use if you've never created a website before. Also, Vimeo is a great place to host your videos. And finally, Adobe's Behance is designed for creatives to post their work and comes standard with your Adobe account. Alright, so you'll definitely want to set up a website. But what do you do if you don't really have much work to showcase? You need examples of work to get a job, but you need a job to get examples of work. It's a bit of a catch-22. Well, as we said before, one thing that you can do is work for free. Not forever, of course, but a little bit at first can help you to build up more examples of work to share with prospective new leads and clients. Now, of course, all free work is not created equal. Let's dig into this a bit more. First, you'll want to ask yourself, what type of free work should you be looking for? The best kind of work that you can do for free is something that you think adds value to your current resume, or it shows that you can take on projects that you don't normally showcase. If you're a corporate video editor but want to edit narrative films, you might edit a short film for free to build up your narrative resume. Now, just a quick note, your uncle's, wife's, sister's, niece's 3rd birthday party photo collage probably isn't going to be what potential employers are looking for. Surprisingly, finding good free work can actually be kind of a challenge. Let's take a look at some of the best places to find free work. Start with friends and family. They're your best resource for finding work. Asking friends and family if they know anyone in the film industry who might need an editor is a great way to discover connections that you didn't know existed. The next place to look for free work is your local community, filmmaker meetups, other filmmakers. You could use a variety of social media tools to put the word out that you're looking to connect with businesses that might need video work for their websites or social media channels. And lastly, one of the best places to find free work is online. Facebook groups are a huge part of the filmmaking community, and there are no shortage of filmmakers looking for help on their projects. Groups such as I Need an Editor, Ask an Editor, I Need an Assistant Editor, and I Need an Editor, all caps with an exclamation mark. In addition to Facebook groups, you can also look at online job boards such as entertainmentcareers.net, staffmeup.com, productionhub.com, and media-match.com. So whether you're trying to get some free work or you're trying to land a paid editing gig, there's one skill that's very important to master, and that is how to send cold emails. That first message you send out is probably the most important message you'll ever send to someone. There are a few important points to know about cold emails. The first email you write someone will be your first and only time to make a good first impression. It's important that your message has a specific call to action or request. Give them something clear-cut to follow up on, whether it's answering a question for you, scheduling a meeting, reviewing your work, etc. Last, you want to make sure to keep it brief on your first message. It should be just long enough to get the important information across without making them read a novel. People are busy, so it's important to be respectful of their time. So let's take a look at exactly how to craft a good cold email. First, introduce yourself and provide a brief background on who you are. Let's use Jane Doe as our example here. In her message, she'll begin with,
"Hi, Mark. I'm Jane Doe. You and I know each other through our mutual friend, John. I'm a recent film school grad with an interest in editing."
This is a great way to open the letter because it tells the reader exactly who you are and how they know you right away. If you have a mutual acquaintance, your chances of getting a response increase quite a bit. Now, you need to get to the point as quickly as possible, as your recipient might be very busy. Something like this.
"I'm a big fan of the work your company does. I especially love the commercial spot you did for McDonald's. I'd love to have the opportunity to sit down and pick your brain about some of the techniques you used in that spot."
This is a short and simple explanation of what you want. It lets them know that you appreciate and know their work, and that you have an interest in what they've specifically done. This also gets to the point quickly by asking for a meeting. In addition to asking for a meeting, it's important to explain why they're the right person to help you on your journey. You might say something like this.
"I really love seeing commercial spots with a comedic editing style. I recently had the chance to work with a friend on a short comedic piece and was inspired by some of the work I've seen on your website."
Once you've built the body of the email, you want to sign off with an actionable item. Ask a question that needs answering, suggest a next step, or even ask if they'd be willing to take a look at some of your work and offer their feedback. You could write something like this.
"I'd like to offer to buy you coffee and ask for some advice if you have any free time in your schedule. I'd be happy to come over to your neighborhood whenever it's most convenient for you."
Now, go ahead and hit that send button. So let's stop for a second and talk about where you want to send your cold emails to. It's all going to depend on what you want to accomplish. Just like building the scene of an edit, you need to first figure out what the goal of the email is. For example, if you want to be a narrative editor, you could look for local filmmakers in your area using Facebook groups. You could also attend local film festivals where you'll have a chance to attend parties and events where you can interact with local filmmakers. If you want to connect with professional working editors, you could use IMDb Pro to reach them through their managers. Or you could try to reach out personally through social media, like Twitter or Instagram. If you want to be an editor who makes creative content for different brands, you might consider starting local and sending emails to the marketing teams of any local companies. You should also ask friends and family if they can connect you with any local business owners who might need to have a video editor work with them on any upcoming projects. And if you want to work in advertising, research ad agencies in your local area and reach out through their careers contact page. Now, if you happen to not live in an area where there's a lot of local ad agencies, anytime you travel to a major hub, you can plan in advance to visit and send them an email letting them know that you'd like to meet. So, to set some realistic expectations, the majority of editing work happens in a major city. Places like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Seattle, Austin, and Denver are great places in the US. And places like Toronto and Vancouver in Canada, and then around the world in major cities like London, Paris, Tokyo, Shanghai, and Amsterdam. But don't be discouraged. In a place like Los Angeles, for example, many of the creative professionals you'll encounter come from places all over the world. With all those people vying for the same jobs, it's totally normal to not receive a reply to an email that you send out. Generally, cold emails are hit and miss. It's a gamble, and it could take a couple emails to 100 different people before you get a solid reply. Think of this process as though you were launching a marketing campaign for yourself. The more emails you write, the more likely you are to receive a favorable response. So, to keep track of all these hundreds of emails that you're sending, along with the status of each, I suggest creating a spreadsheet. So, we've got a number of columns across the top. You've got the name of the company, the contact person that you found on their website or through some other means, who you're going to reach out to, their position in the company, and their email. Of course, these are all made-up companies and people, so I don't recommend reaching out to Carol Conehead looking for editing work. The next 4 columns are designed to track your outreach, and their response or lack thereof, and the outcome, which is basically your next step. You just write the date that you sent your first cold outreach email in the appropriate cell, and then if you don't hear back, the date that you sent a follow-up email about 1 week later. For color coding, green basically means that the task is complete and/or had a positive outcome. Red is a negative outcome, and yellow is something that's pending. So in the reply column, you'll probably end up with a lot of these. Not currently hiring, or even more common, no reply. That's okay. Remember, this is a game of numbers. For those, just write a reminder in the outcome column to reach out again in, say, 6 months to a year, and color code it as pending with yellow. Fortunately, every so often, you will hear back with something positive, or at least a possible opportunity. Here, you can see that Henry Horseface replied, saying that he's currently on vacation, but they do need editors. He asked that you reach back out in a week. Great. So in the outcome column, write a reminder to do that. And I'd probably color code it green just so it stands out. You definitely don't want to forget to send that email. And you might want to set a reminder on your phone. Alright, and here you can see that marketing video experts also replied that they have a position available for an assistant editor and they'd like to schedule you for an interview. That's also great. Remember, it's pretty common to start as an assistant before being promoted to a full editor. Now, you'll just need to decide if you're okay working for someone named Nancy Nunchuck. So obviously, just try to remember that people are busy. It's possible that your email just came at the wrong time. If you don't hear back, you can always send out a follow-up email, but be careful about how you do it. For example, here are some phrases that you should probably try to avoid using.
I sent you a message 3 weeks ago. Did you read it? I haven't yet received a reply to my previous message, so I'm resending it. I saw you read my message, but haven't replied yet.
These are all a bit aggressive, and they're probably going to irritate the recipient. Instead, try something like this.
I was recently reminded of our mutual friend John, and I thought I'd reach out to you again in the hopes of...
Or,
your recent success with Project XYZ piqued my interest, and I wanted to reach out to you again.
These are great ways to continue a conversation, even though it may only be one-sided at the moment. It reminds the recipient of your previous message and your connection to them, while prompting them again to take action. The last step to landing editing gigs is to start networking. Although it's important to have excellent technical proficiency and strong creative instincts, finding your first job and many jobs thereafter is as much about who you know as what you know. The first tip for networking is to simply meet other filmmakers. Surround yourself with friends in the film industry. Attend their events and meet their friends. The more people you meet, the more opportunities that you give yourself to find meaningful connections. The film industry is full of great networking events, especially for editors. If you live in or around major cities across the world, you're likely to find a local post-production event or meetup about once a month. But if you don't live near a major hub, that's all right, because there's tons of online groups where you can connect to other filmmakers and editors. Facebook groups such as Black with No Cream and Blue Collar Post Collective are great groups to join and participate in. So we talked about this earlier, but volunteering your time is actually a great way to network. The more you work alongside other filmmakers and editors, the more opportunity you have to impress them with your efforts and also to improve your skills. And finally, networking is all about leaving a good lasting impression. Once your current job is done, you want to make sure that you've left the project in better shape than when you found it, and that your relationships with your colleagues, producers, and other filmmakers across the board were memorable and positive. That's how you get repeat work, which makes life a lot easier. Approach your editing job search with the same precision, thoroughness, and attention to detail as your edits, and you'll give yourself the best possible shot of getting paid to work on projects that excite and fulfill you. Hey there! For tons more free editing training, head over to our website at filmeditingpro.com/free training. Here you can download free editing guides along with high-quality video training courses created by our team of professional Hollywood editors. Our tutorials cover a wide range of editing topics, like cutting awesome movie trailers, editing action scenes, how to work with music and sound design, and a lot more. All of these free guides and videos are available at filmeditingpro.com/free training. I'll see you next time.